So now that I have my details before me and I've used a 2 column, and if I were to do this on paper, I would probably make it like 2/3 to a third, and I would just add some of my own knowledge in this far right column. Um, but like I told you earlier, I would probably just annotate the sources because you can circle items faster than you can rewrite them on a table. So anyway, I'm going to scan very quickly and get a feel for the context with which I can craft my argument. Ulterior motives for abolishing the penny, keeping the nickel. Unemployment issues would be an impact if we drop the penny. Although those jobs could the lost jobs turn to other coins excavated? I'm not sure. It's a question though. Transaction time, which I'm not really buying into as far as that whole 4 hours a year as being that problematic, but it would decrease some transaction time. And we are going more towards charge accounts and Venmo and online purchasing, all of that. Circulation drop. This is that opinion piece that says 1 billion pennies are created a month, but 2/3 drop out of the circulation. And then D refutes that. Okay, the Harris poll reflects people's abolish or favor. It was just a poll. They weren't actually voting on it. So I'm not sure how much credibility that would hold as far as changing or swaying my stance. And then the sentimental issue. Okay, so what I would probably do based on what I've read is my thesis would be that, hold on. My thesis would be because our society has dramatically shifted to online and digital, I guess I could just say digital, to digital economic transactions, it would be wise to abolish the penny, but keep, I can address that later, because you would be abolished, abolish the penny, and utilize other platforms to honor historic figures and other I guess that's the only real motive to keep it. Oh, loss of jobs. Utilize other platforms and redirect the place at. It would be wise to abolish the penny, redirecting impacted jobs to other coinage needs. Like I say, to the other growing coinage needs, and utilize other pleasure. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit verbose, and I got to go back and revise. It would look really rough. This is actually what would appear in my essay. Since I'm doing this on the computer, it's a little bit easier to tweak. Now, how would I support that? My body paragraph 1 would probably open with a counter argument. Sorry, my oven timer just went off. A counter argument of sentimental factor. I would also draw us a counter argument of transaction time. So I would say here, actually I would just do the sentimental aspect. Sentimental aspect, and this would be source F and G. And I would probably bring in that we have stamps, we have statues, we have museums, people have coin collections. Sorry. Really want to spell coin, clink? Okay. We have historical documents, all of these. We have movies. So we've plenty of ways to maintain the sentimental aspect of Lincoln and Sacagawea and on and on. Body paragraph 2, I think I would also do a counter argument to address job loss, and specifically talk about source A and those minors, MINERS, and also the U.S. Mint, so A and C. So A, the minors, and C, the U.S. Mint. And then I would have to refute that with redirect the mint producers. And probably this has already been automatized. Is that a word? Where it's done by machines? I'm not quite sure. Redirect the mint producers to other coinage needs now. And then I would also, if possible, redirection of job loss in mines or excavating. I might use that counterfeit quote. I'm not sure. I'd have to revisit that counterfeiters quote. I don't remember where that was because I didn't write it down, but it was one of the sources. I'd have to go back and look. Okay, so those would be two very short paragraphs, and then my stance. Oh, I just realized that I had the @ sign. Body paragraph 3 would actually be my stance, and I would open with key stance is that we need to abolish penny for environmental reasons. I'll explain later, and practicality. And the environmental, I would refute source A in a sense and talk about redirecting copper, and actually I guess it would just be zinc because copper is used for other coin, redirecting zinc to more useful needs, and maybe they wouldn't, ones that wouldn't drop out of circulation, even at a third. And that would, not a half, a third. I'm really struggling, folks, sorry. A third of the rate, and that came from the Federal Reserve data, so that would be source D. So I've got A, I would also use D here. And then I would talk to, as far as environmental, bring in source A. Okay, I talked about that. And then, yeah, I would say that I would use key stance, refute A, discuss transaction time, but more I would use the 27% Americans do not track. So that could also decrease environmental loss and landfill issues if they weren't like throwing away or just not keeping up with them. And that was 27%. Where was that from? B. So I could use B here if I wanted. All right, so I feel like I have enough to get started. And I've got 3 body paragraphs. I'm going to open with 2 counter arguments. I've got F and G in one of them, and A and C in another one. And then I'm going to refute A. I'm going to use D in my refutation. I'm going to address B. I'm ready to go. I hope that has been helpful. Talk to you soon.